Hi FlossTube Stitchers. I'm coming to you tonight from a different corner of my shop that actually did not exist before we got the new carpeting. This area used to be storage and it was hidden from view by a row of white bookcases. And we separated those bookcases into two different areas, and then I created this nook so that I could move some book racks, and I moved the brown bookshelf from a different area, and this is retail space that didn't exist before, so I'm very happy about it. I will have to remain creative in how I store things or how much I store, since I no longer have the it wasn't that much storage area, but it was enough, and I've severely diminished the amount of space that I have to keep things. So I'm going to be diligent about not keeping things that I don't need, or just not storing things that I could be using for kit materials or things like that. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I kind of decorated the bookshelf for fall there, in keeping with the season, but actually I'm gonna start kind of off season with two new shop models. Both of them were stitched and custom framed by Bonnie of Valley Framing, my friend Bonnie that I talk about a lot. And they happen to be not necessarily Valentine's Day, but with a love theme. And the first one is by Heart and Hand Needle Art called Always You. And Bonnie stitched it on 32 Nocturne Lugana from Picture This Plus. And she actually was encouraged or inspired to do this because another customer, Lori, had seen our model that somebody else had stitched, and we couldn't duplicate the fabric for her, but this was as close as we got. And when Bonnie was framing it, she said, I love this color combination. I want to do the same thing. So she bought the same piece of fabric, and she left a lot of the fabric showing. It kind of creates its own mat because she thought it was so pretty. And I love the color combination here, which is actually the colors that the designer used, but just on different fabric. It doesn't scream Valentine's Day. It also does not have to be a wedding or anniversary, but I think the option was there to put initials and the date there. But Bonnie chose to leave it more simple. So that's Always You. And then the other one, she was inspired to find a design to stitch on one of our Fabric of the Month automatics from Atomic Ranch. So she saw the Joy Lynn over the summer and had been thinking about what to do on it because she just really loved that color red. And this is what she came up with. The design is by Stacy Nash Primitives, and it's called Love, Pin, Keep, and Heart. And she found this frame that had the hearts on it. And for a while, she was considering whether to do the lock and key in like a gold metallic, and she couldn't decide. And I said, oh gosh, if it were me, I might do it in black and then put it in a black frame because I like black as an accent. And she went through a couple different possibilities, and in the end just decided to stitch it all in white. I think after she chose the frame, it kind of made more sense to do it all in white. She didn't stitch with pure white. I think she said it was Antique White Classic Colorworks, but it looks white enough against the red fabric, and the frame still looked okay with it. So anyway, just a nice simple design. All right, and then I'm gonna put this back safe so I can use this little shelf in front of me for other things as I go along. So my vintage stitch this week is another freebie by the Cross-Eyed Cricket. It's actually called Another Petite Acorn. I showed you Petite Acorn sometime in the past couple weeks. And this is another one. They both had come out as free charts in 2001 when Cricut sent their autos to the shops. They usually included, well, they still do, they always include a freebie. And we stitched the shop model on 18 count Davos in a color that I think does not exist anymore, and used pearl cotton over 2. And then instead of stitching the leaf, we added the Mill Hill button. And then the finisher at the time had chosen this really cute leaf fabric that brought out some of the colors. So this is available to get as a free chart. I think I gave the last one away the other day, so I need to print some more, but that's available. And then I have a vintage new start, I guess we'll call it. A while ago when I was working on reorganizing my craft room, I had come across this kit. And my first thought was, oh shoot, you know, obviously I wish I had stitched it back when it was new. I could have ordered more kits when they were still available. And but you know, let's just move on and stitch it now and enjoy it, because it's been in your craft room for 20 years since we moved. It was in a box that had never been redistributed. It just was perfectly filled with snowman and winter possible future projects, and I had never got into it since then. So anyway, it was from a series called Name Tags, and they use these little pre-finished pillow hangers from old colonial designs. And I really didn't even remember this series, and I tried searching the internet, and the only other one I came up with was called Bluebird. Who knows, maybe those were the only 2 that they had, but it's a really cute little snowman, and I love snowmen, and I usually have a snowman tree, even if it's just a tabletop. So I thought, what the heck, I'm gonna start. I know it's not available and I'm teasing you, but you might be able to find it on the secondary market. So I'm using, well, this is that's the pillow. And I'm using the fabric that came with the kit, which is 32 count dirty linen. But I'm not using, oh, you know what? I didn't bring the threads over with me, but I was gonna explain why I'm not using the threads that came with the kit. I honestly just did not think they matched the blue pillow. They were kind of 2 duller plum and plummy blue colors from Weeks Dye Works, and I don't think they had anything to do with the blue pillow. So I actually auditioned quite a few threads in the shop, both silk and cotton, to see what I could come up with for the hat and scarf. And so this is what I came up with. So this is probably 2 nights worth of stitching. So I just started with the snowman because that was easy. It was the white. And then I added the nose and the stick arms. And then I thought, all right, you got to get serious and pick something for the scarf. And I looked at quite a number of things, and I couldn't come up with 2 things that looked good, believe it or not, unless they were solid colors. But I was looking for an over dye and then maybe a solid color or something else to do what looked like the fur lining of the hat and then the scarf around his neck. So this is a Sullivan's over dye, and it's called Regal. I kept wanting to call it Royal Gems. It's called Regal Gems, and it just had all the colors in it. So I kept the idea of the plum, purple, and blue together, but it also added this nice pink. So I had thought about possibly making the lining, the fur around the hat, be a hot pink. I don't know, I just couldn't find something I really liked. And so then I thought, what if I made it like a solid color wool? And so what I'm gonna do tonight when I get home is I'm gonna add Midnight Simply Wool from the Gentle Art, and it looks really good with the pillow. It brings out the blue in the over-dyed cotton, and it also will bring a little bit of dimension. So hopefully it really will look like a more realistic looking scarf. So that's what I'm gonna do later. And then the other project that I was working on was also a fairly new start from just like a week ago. The Fruits of Our Labor from Pineberry Lane. I'm actually going to do all 3 of the designs. I started with these 2. When I get to the 3rd one, I'm thinking of making their clothes slightly different color combinations, just so it didn't look too much the same, but I may change my mind. I do have to figure out how to add some plum to the 3rd one because of the color I chose. And so you'll remember that I started with this one last week, and since I'm doing it on 32 Lavender Lugana, just a solid color from Zweigart, I changed the color of the grapes to something that looked better on the fabric because what they used was a very prim plum brown. All of these are solid color DMCs. So I think I added the turkey since the last time I showed you this. And then I worked on the second little scene, and I made her skirt the same plum color that I used for the grapes in the first picture. So that's how I'm adding plum to this one. And I'm really enjoying this. It's 1 strand of floss, which I love. The snowman was also on 32 count linen, but I'm using 2 strands. And I enjoy working with one. I feel like it just goes so much faster for some reason. Okay, so that's kind of my sad stitching. I'm getting back into it, but I'm still not stitching as many hours a night as I used to, so I need to get back into it. Now I'm going to show you new charts. This all came this week and they were all on automatic, so I'm calling this one All the Automatics. All the Automatics Arrive at Once, but that title was too long, so I shortened it. Sometimes this happens. Designers get a good idea, or they're trying to meet a holiday deadline, or they send something every 2 months, and it's just not uncommon for us to receive a lot of automatics at the same time. I think I'm on a dozen automatics, so obviously this isn't everybody's, but it was a lot to get in 1 week. All right, I'm gonna put that over there. All right, as I finish talking about them, I'm just gonna put them right in this bin so I don't have to reach so far. So the first was from Bent Creek. They sent a new chart and a new kit. So Cat and Bones was a little late for Halloween, but not too late for anybody who enjoys stitching Halloween all year. If you stitch on the 13th or the 31st of the month a Halloween design, this will be right up your alley. I think it's very cute. And then the new kit is part of their Pop series, very cleverly titled Popcorn of Blessings. It's much prettier than it looks. They're fall colors, but the color is a little drab and the fabric is not represented well on the front cover, so it actually looks very fallish. So that's from Bent Creek. Then we got Heartstring Samplery. Go Tell It on the Mountain. Very interesting fabric. This is Winter Wren 36 count from Fox and Rabbit. I don't remember ever seeing that one in person, so I thought that was really pretty. And then Out There Ornament Set. This is on 36 Midnight Ride from X Jude Design. So this is interesting. Probably not something I would ever stitch, but I know there's a lot of people out there that will think that's pretty cool. And then another one, number 6 in their stocking ornament series, Skate Fever. I like that the stocking is not a super weird shape. that's hard to get. It's a little, you know, it's a little simpler. So if you're not a finisher or a seamstress, at least you're not having to make all kinds of curves. I feel like you have some options there. You have some leeway for not getting it perfect. Then Heart and Hand had Christmas etchings. This is really pretty. And then on the back, they show the typical one design on a different count fabric. So I thought that was really, I really like these colors. They look kind of retro, but not too bright. So I like this. I'll probably have to stitch that someday. If I had to choose, I would probably pick the bell because it's blue, but I really do like all of them, and I like them as a whole set. But they would also be cute if you did each of them separately and put them on easels. That would be really cute to intersperse within your Christmas decorations. All right, then we have Primrose Cottage, and they had Christmas Word Tree and Cocoa Quaker. You know, I want to start this right away, but I have some rules about stitching too much from the same designer all at once. So I think I need to finish one of my Primrose starts before I finish that one. All right, then we have Cocoa Quilt. And this is going to be the giveaway for this week. And I'm actually going to do the Halloween and the Cocoa together. Now, if you've already ordered the Halloween or even the Cocoa directly from Primrose or from another store, we can talk. Whoever wins, you know, we can have a conversation, and you could have two of any of the quilts, because I do carry the whole line, so we can talk about that later. But just use quilt cleverly in your comment, and then I will put you in the drawing next week. Then Christmas Magic, and I do have some plans for this one as well. I may start this before the next video, but I really do have to finish one of my other primroses, so I'm gonna get on that, because I think I want to do this on an opalescent fabric. So I was auditioning fabrics the other day, and my other friend Bonnie M, kind of helped me pick between 2 or 3 fabrics that I was considering. So I may start this in the very near future. All right, and then we have some from Stitching with the Housewives. This is from their Blooming Roots series. Snowdrop Street is their January. And you get both designs in there. And then Santa Claus in their Word Swap. And St. Nick's Tree Farm is a standalone chart of theirs. Okay, so that's all the new stuff. And then the winner from last week's video comments was Susan from Colorado, and she's going to get the seasonal sampler Autumn. I also wanted to tell you about a FlossTube that I watched earlier today. It's by a young mom named Lizzy, and it's just spelled Lizzy. That's the name of her channel. And her video is called 20 Free Thanksgiving Harvest Cross-Stitch Patterns. And I even saw some ones that I had never encountered before, some new sites, some different designers that I didn't know about. And I love Thanksgiving. It's my holiday. I took it over from my mom years ago when we moved into our current house, because I had a dining room for the first time. And I thought that it was time that I handled a holiday on my own. And so I just really get into stitching for Thanksgiving. And I'm anticipating that I'm going to have some extra time to stitch Thanksgiving weekend, because we need to have Thanksgiving a little earlier than we normally do. My brother and his wife are going to Denver on Thanksgiving evening. They got inexpensive flights, And so they're flying out to see my oldest niece, Kelsey, and her family. And so we need to have Thanksgiving earlier in the day on Thursday. Usually we don't eat, more till like 4 or 5 o'clock. And so we're going to have it a couple hours earlier. And sometimes we even have it on Friday because of however Thanksgiving is planned on my sister-in-law's side of the family. So anyway, I'm going to have Friday off and no plans for the rest of the weekend with family. And so I'm thinking that I probably will just keep stitching Thanksgiving throughout the rest of that weekend. And I can because I love it. I also hope to get some of my Thanksgiving finished stitching fully finished. So that is my goal, to take some of my smaller finishes that I never decided on and go through my bins of potential finishing items that I've been collecting. And so I'm hoping that I have some different things to show you in my Thanksgiving video this year. Okay, I know this is a little shorter than normal, but that's really all that's new on this side of town. So I think I'll end there. And thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And I love all the comments. I did enjoy reading your favorite things about autumn. They so coincided with my own favorite things. So I enjoyed reading those. And tell me some quilt stories this time. And then I have something I want to show you next time. If I had thought about what my question was going to be, well, if I had decided what I was going to give away before today, I would have brought a quilt in to show you. So hopefully I can find the one I'm thinking of, and I'll come next time with a quilt and a story as well. Okay, see you next week. Bye-bye. And what else was I going to tell you about Thanksgiving? I already forgot what I was going to talk about.